like I said, it's a sizable fishing boat that can house about 9 people, give or take. And like Fane said, it's speared on a bunch of rocks, and you can see like the underside has been kind of like shredded, like the thing went sailing through the air and then landed right on these rocks. So like their jutted points are just poking right up through the underbelly.
Thanatos makes a low whistle that I too cannot do.
Thank you.
Wow, you guys sure did a number on this, didn't you?
We didn't have much choice. We got attacked by a giant sea turtle.
Oh.
Thanatos kind of just slowly turns towards her. I beg your pardon?
We got attacked by a giant sea turtle.
You're really surprised by that after all we've seen? Remember the high snog?
I really should. And please don't remind me of that.
Yeah, I probably should have told you you get giant turtles now and then.
Turtles. Great.
I like turtles.
But
what is
feel
that?
difficult.
What is
Aren't
what?
sea turtles supposed to be peaceful?
A wall.
It's a D12. Why is there a D12 there?
No reason.
No reason.
Giant sea turtle, I would imagine.
No reason.
Anyway.
Alright, Alice here. Give me a hand. Let's get this thing off the
Right, you lift
Like
off that
giant
end
sea
carefully. I
turtle.
lift on the other side.
Alright, so
both
what
of
kind
you, okay, one of you roll and then add together your force modifiers. So what are your what's your collective force?
Mine's 3.
4.
So that would be a +7 to this roll, whoever decides to make it.
Alright, I'll do it.
While they're busy toying with the bow, can he turn to say, I see you have a knack for ranged weaponry.
Oh!
13?
Okay.
You're able to make some progress, but it's still kind of lodged, so you'll have to roll that again in a minute. But for now,
Are you fucking kidding me?
it's really stuck on there.
Apparently.
But anyways,
Did I try to roll?
yeah.
Or is it just one of us?
Yeah, Alice,
Here
you
you-
go ahead and roll, do the +7, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, Fane
ahead.
turns to Neatha with the question, and is like, oh, you mean this? And she pulls the sucker off her back, and you see that it is indeed a gun, a Magitech gun, a rifle. She sort of flicks a switch on the side, and it's and like a chamber barrel that's in the center sort of like spins for a second, and you hear a mechanical as it comes to life. The whole thing sort of lights up with little blue glowing lights and stripes.
It's gone.
We don't receive too many of those in Olvatea. I kind of bring out Boltstorm as an example. We tend to prefer the classics.
Well, to be fair, she kind of gets a sort of sheepish look on her face. This thing wouldn't really be legal in Linsalem either.
Oh, I guess it's good we're not in Salem.
Indeed.
Put your back into it, Vanatos.
Hey!
She flicks it off, puts it back on her back and turns, just as Alistair and Thanatos finally, with that 15, pry the boat off of the rocks and send it sliding off into the sand.
Right. Now let's prepare it.
Alright. Getting a look at it, you see that it's pretty fucked up, but it should be repairable with a bit of time, effort, and someone who knows carpentry.
You got any carpenters?
I know one or two things. I am an engineer.
Wonderful.
Alright.
What materials do you require?
Well, mostly wood. And something to attach the wood to the boat and keep a relatively tight seal.
Well, nails would help with that. I suppose a rope would really work.
No.
Probably not.
We don't. I'm fresh out of nails, so
Damn.
wood I
Any
can most.
supplies?
Mika, do you have anything on you?
She shakes her head. Nope, I just have books and potions.
Well, worst comes to worst, you could always come with us to Anomo.
Academy City?
That's where we're heading.
It's a bit of a trip. Further than we're really willing to make.
Well, where have you come from? Where are you going?
We came from Dolly on the other side of the lake. We were doing some fishing for some friends. And then again, the sea turtle showed up and knocked us onto the wrong damn side.
Is it along the pathway?
Dolly? She sort of talks about it for a second, and after a minute, you sort of no, that's wrong.
Then
Hang on a second, I'm trying.
Wrong layer.
the world just shook.
Well, what was that?
I go, what
Okay.
the hell?
All right, so Dolly is over here.
Oh,
That is
blimey.
a bit out of the way.
Unless you guys want to swim.
Eh,
Are you kidding me?
if worse comes to worse, I can send someone to Tenori to buy nails and come back. Or I could probably disassemble one of my gadgets and just use the parts from that as makeshift nails. To make new ones, but
That would be a
No
shame.
offense,
The only thing I can
but-
appreciate is good range weaponry.
We can get the wood.
Wood
That'll
we
be
can
easy
most
enough,
certainly
there's
get.
trees.
Yes.
We just don't have
But
anything to attach it with.
Just a bit of a word of advice. I think it'd be unwise just to send someone out there on their own, since we're surrounded by a forest.
she gives a slow nod, and then suddenly, as if she gets this bright idea, she sort of perks up, looks up towards her folks who are sort of resting on one of her and says, "Hey! Bart, come here!" One of them, a human with sort of a thinning hair, despite looking to be like only in his 30s, sort of looks up and sort of drags himself over. "What is it, boss?" She sort of gestures widely around. "I want you to find some big chunks of wood and then use that knife of yours to whittle them down into spikes. Can you do that?" "Why?" "So that we have makeshift nails. Not a perfect solution, but it'll work." "You sure?" She sort of leans over him a bit and says, "Who's the engineer?" "You." "Are you questioning my engineering skills?" "No." "Good. Go." He nods and then scampers off.
Be wise to listen to her, because either that will be sent out into the forest on your own.
Ah! And he goes a bit faster.
You definitely remind me of my old drill sergeant.
Again, they're dullards. Someone needs to keep them in line, or who knows what hole they'll go and jack themselves off into.
That or get eaten by a turtle, apparently.
Turtle, Snogwins, any number of ugly things.
Ugh. Please don't say that. Please
So
don't say
there
that.
are high snuglins in this river then.
Are turtles supposed to be peaceful?
Not unless you
Not
intrude
this
near their
week.
nests.
Which means it's got a nest.
We were probably hovering over its nest, yeah.
Maybe they should put out a big sign next time saying, "Nest here, please go away."
It's awful far inland for a sea turtle.
Well. Rivers, who knows? I'm not one to question nature, I'm one to question gears and gadgets and gizmos.
Well, hi, Sagan, you know what? I say we stay here and guard you until the boat is repaired.
He sort of pulls out her gun and turns it back on again. I don't think that'll be necessary. A giant sea turtle that's 3 times bigger than our boat. This thing's not good against that, but a stupid 2-headed snake in a rock shell? I can handle that.
Really? Wow.
I'm a good shot. Have to be.
We should
I like
start
this one.
using the wood.
Yeah,
Well-
let's go start
we-
on the wood at least.
We help you with the wood then, and if you cannot handle yourself, fair enough.
All right. So, how are you going about acquiring wood?
Sword.
Okay.
What?
I mean, that's not really suited for an actor's
We
job.
could find a tree.
I mean,
Or actually, no. Better yet, why not just have
could
rocket
your
kick?
scythe cut through it? No.
I mean, you're not using that scythe anymore. You know,
Well, I mean, it's possible. An axe would be better suited, but
You won't
Yeah.
know for any of these methods until you try.
well,
if you're going to try anything, I suggest using your scythe, because if that breaks, that's it. None it doesn't really matter because you're not using it anymore. You've already upgraded.
but I
Hmm.
like this scythe. It has meaning.
Okay, no.
All right, let's. All right, so what do I have to roll to take a swing at a tree?
In this case, let's just have you just roll straight damage. The tree's not gonna dodge. It doesn't have an avoidance. Just attack it. Just roll damage.
Try a
Uh,
fin tree first.
And this is with my scythe, so it's just. And it's just regular. Okay.
Suppose my staff could take a bit of punishment if I try.
All right. Sort of bring your scythe up over your shoulder. You give a sort of sideways swipe, and it bites into the side of the tree trunk and digs about halfway through before it gets stuck. You pull it once or twice, then you pull it back out. A few bits of sawdust and flakes of wood go flying out.
One more like that.
Oh boy.
Well, you got the job half done.
And here I go again.
Put you back into it. I don't.
Okay.
All right.
I did put my back into
All
it.
right, that takes out the 14 remaining HP of the tree. You give another swipe, and this time you manage to plow through what's left on the other side, and the tree starts to fall. Now, I need to roll something. Really quick.
Timber! Oh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no! Okay,
It falls on me, doesn't it?
it starts to fall
Uh-oh.
towards you. Who all was standing near Thanatos at this point?
I think
was-
it was just me.
Thanatos!
So
Yeah, we
I-
all.
I mean, he
I'm
was-
still, but I'm still with the thing. With the.
I mean, I thought you were with.
Thanatos!
I thought you were with Thanatos because you said one more like that. So.
I mean, I was kind of calling out to him and watching from a distance because I don't assume he went far to go to the nearest tree.
Oh,
it's
shit.
It's a forest. Okay, what do I have to,
Thanatos!
what do I have to roll to dodge the freaking tree falling?
Dodge, man! Dodge!
Go ahead and roll an athletics check. And you're
Oh.
gonna have to beat what is essentially the equivalent of an attack roll from the tree.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You're giving us more ammo.
12.
8. All right. So,
Hey, you win.
as you hear the tree's base, what little is left is sort of a... And it starts to fall towards you. The branches are like snapping as they're brushing against their cousins. The air filling with this low rumble as this giant thing is falling towards you. You look up and you realize, oh, that's falling towards me. And then you quickly roll off to one side, foregoing any classes from the Prometheus school of running away from things. And the tree just hits the ground right next to you, kicks up some dirt from the grass, and it's like the top of the tree actually hits down onto the sands of the beach and kicks up a sizable cloud of dust. And little bits of dust and debris sort of falling around you for a minute.
That was close.
Eh,
Be careful next time.
I've had worse.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see if we can put this stuff to any use.
What are you gonna do with a staff?
I'm using the sharp bit.
It's
Have you not seen my staff design?
It's not really sharp. It's kind of narrower compared to the shaft, but it's not like a blade.
But damn, I got a critical.
I mean that's your damage, right?
Got double sixes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you come up and you just out of fucking nowhere, you just bring your staff down on it to everyone else's perception, no bloody reason, and bludgeon up the tree trunk in half. For like just cut a section of it away, just poof. For seemingly no reason, because the tree's already cut down. You didn't need to do that.
But
So-
we got more wood.
You got the same amount of wood, it's just in more pieces now.
Ah.
So, that was a thing.
Now we gotta get it to them.
Were you working something
mean-
out of your system there, Alistair?
Don't have my own strength. Whoops.
Sure. All right.
Sure. Alright,
We
so...
believe you.
Okay, so I guess we didn't have to go very far for the tree, so I imagine
Yeah, I mean,
they can collect the wood.
while that one guy is kind of picking up, access pieces from all over the place and whittling down little makeshift wooden spikes to serve as nails. Fane gets her other friends to sort of come up and start lugging the now 2 pieces of tree you have, because Alistair clunked it in half, down to the beach.
That's less weight.
That is true. And sort of turns back to the rest of you. All right, given the break patterns, we should be able to make do with this. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Well then, I take it you're gonna be heading on your way?
Have you no longer need help and think you can make do?
No
We
problem.
have a
man.
long trip to Anomo.
We'll probably manage. If worse comes to worse, we can just walk the rest of the way ourselves. Not ideal, but we can manage.
Yep. Well, stay safe and good luck.
You too. Thanks
And
again
try
for the
not
help.
to fight any more sea turtles.
I'll try not to. She sort of waves and turns back to her companions, gets a sort of scowl on her face. The hell are you all doing? Get to chopping! And, they scramble into movement, go to fetch tools and gear, and start hacking at the trunk to break it into bits that they can use.
On aboard the cart.
And, and you
All
all...
aboard the rocket train.
Up on board to the rocket chain, the happy chain, the rocket chain.
No.
And you're
Off
all...
to Anomo we go.
And you're setting off again. You cross the bridge, no problem. And you're...
I'm starting to think Avena might be right. I should have gone into black magic.
Well, anyways.
You don't really seem the type.
Hmm.
You don't do enough brooding.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. It is not all about the brooding. It's about what spells you cast.
Well, anyways, you spend a little while making your way, the next day or so of travel, and eventually, on the dawn of the third day since running into Fane and her companions, you pass back out into the open plains. And you see, in the distance to the north, the Mage's Mountain stretching on well beyond what you can see on the horizon. It is a large mountain range.
Holy shit.
Pretty!
We have to scale that?
I mean, you remember it, Alistair. You took the path once. Several times, in fact.
And
He was making a reference.
Right.
yeah.
I didn't
I
get
couldn't
it,
resist.
obviously. I obviously didn't get it.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, deja vu.
All right. Well,
I hope you all have experience of mountain climbing.
Nope, never climbed a mountain in my life. Never been this close to a mountain in my life.
Well,
I've
get ready.
always,
It's exhausting.
I've always lived on an island, so
I've always been in a forest.
Hmm.
Till
Take-
now.
Take my advice, because obviously Rocket's going to need all her strength to get to this when she gets up the steep parts. If you're climbing certain parts of the mountain, make sure it's steady. Do you want to slip and fall?
Yeah, I had a mountain back home.
The closest we had were the Surfstone Mountains. They were a few days away from Vitae, but I never actually went there.
they're also significantly smaller than the Mage's Mountains.
Hmm.
Most certainly.
These ones also look colder.
Hmm.
Well, they're further north.
Yeah. Yes. So make sure you take all your deep breaths, because air might get a little bit hard to breathe.
Thin. The word you're looking for is thin.
Thin, yes.
Make your way.
So remember, don't fall. I can only heal, not raise the dead.
Thanks, Alice. Yeah, she deadpans.
There's a fun question. Is there necromancy?
You don't know. Well,
Probably,
actually
but-
roll a lore check and you'll figure that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything in lore. Fuck.
But
Be
from
lore
what I
mod-
know
this
from
would be lore
D&D,
magic.
apparently playing the Necromancer can be fun, but can also not be fun. If that makes any sense. From
Well,
what
this
I
isn't
heard.
D&D. This is FFD6, so.
I know, I'm
Let's
just
get
saying.
Damn mountain.
All right, 9 for knowing about necromancy. You know that there are undead, and you know that sometimes there are mages who use their powers to revive the dead in not ideal ways, resulting in zombies and skeletons and all kinds of other ghoulish things like ghouls.
Thinking about getting an army of the undead, are we? Or an
Nah.
army of darkness.
Well, anyways, eventually make it to the base of the Mage's Mountains, and you find a trail easily enough, one of many that sort of lead off from the peak that the Academy City rests on. And looking up, you can actually just make it out from here, just barely. It's kind of hidden amongst the clouds and mist and all the various jutting bits of rock, but Alistair, you know exactly what to look for, and you kind of point it out to everyone else. And they all see it, this big... It's far away still, so you just barely make out the semblance of a structure of many spires that sort of spin and coil.
Mm-hmm. There's our
There you go.
destination. Not far now.
And the trail
It's
you'll
cute.
be following up the mountain is... If you remember...
Stick to the trail.
If you've ever played Skyrim, this is going to kind of resemble the
Yep.
10,000 steps that you take to get to High Hrothgar at the top. Is this long, winding path up the mountainside of a lot of steps and way markers to kind of mark the path so that travelers don't get lost. And and there are many such paths all along this sort of the peak here. But this is the southernmost one that you will be taking. You begin the trek.
Me kind of gently nudges Mika. Excited yet?
Very, and dreading the climb. Sort of looks up and shivers a bit as a chilly breeze sweeps by.
Well, just think about it. Imagine all those books at the end of the trail.
Her folded
get
back,
too
her
excited.
folded back ears slowly stand right up. Let's
Oh.
go.
He's cold. And
I
that's
know
it.
you're good to get up there, but mind your step. They can be pretty slippery.
Well, again, we're in a cart. So and I doubt Rocket trips very easily.
Enough arguing. Let's just go.
Well,
Oh.
metal limb, metal ice don't
Making
mix
it-
sometimes.
Making your way up the mountainside. Your progress is definitely slowed between biting cold winds that slice away at you as the vegetation rapidly dies away and fades away into jagged and pointed rocks and empty soil and ice and snow as you're slowly ascending in altitude. It's all very cold, very fucking cold. I cannot emphasize this enough. You're all starting to shiver a bit as you're ascending, the downsides of being here in winter.
So, okay, can I make a fire wisp to keep us warm?
Yeah, sure, you can conjure a fire wisp, and that'll take some of the problem away, yeah.
It's something.
Yeah,
So I told you, everyone, we might have to help Wocket with the cart. The trail does get a bit harder to travel on.
So just as a heads up for everyone, as of any time you are in such a heavily snowy environment, so pretty much any time you're wandering around on this mountain, or pretty much any other mountain, you will find that they enter into elemental fields of ice, meaning that ice attacks will be doubly powerful from normal, and fire attacks, their opposite, will be significantly weaker.
Aww.
I'm afraid that is not going to help too much, I'm afraid.
All the other elements are
So-
more or less unaffected, but there you go. So as long as you're
Aw.
on the mountains and outside of Anomo, you are considered in an ice elemental field.
So unless you all want to be icicles, Thanatos, I think you might have to help me push the cart from behind to help Wocket.
Well, anyways, eventually, you get about halfway up before the sun starts to set on the horizon, and it starts getting dark and even colder than before, and you quickly determine that even with that fire wisp going, traveling in these temperatures would not at all be safe. Between the darkness, the slipperiness of the slope, and the worsening snows, it would actually be very dangerous to press on.
Right.
We have a decision to
We need
make.
to
Press
stop.
on or stop, because it's good. Can we safely sleep in these conditions?
You would have to look
there
around a
should
bit.
be like
but-
a cave around here.
I'll say, why don't somebody roll awareness and see if we can find a cave?
I am looking for a
Everyone-
cave.
Keep an eye out for a cave. I know there should be a cave around here somewhere.
12.
But I just can't.
Everyone go ahead and roll awareness to look for somewhere safe to set up camp.
Just doing that now.
The rocket already rolls. Is that what that 14 is?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And 4 for awareness. What the fuck?
You rolled 2d6.
I think I fucked up.
You did.
What?
Wow.
Oh, god damn it.
2d6d. What?
There's an extra D in there. What's the? I would say 2 dice.
This is why I want a gaming laptop. I'm too fucking
2d6
pixels at my eyes.
2d6 died plus 4.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
I hate being this
How do
far
you roll
from the screen. I'm
2d6
not
plus
used to this.
4 and get a 2?
I mean, because there's
by-
an extra D in there.
Yeah.
Too many D's.
Too many D's.
Or too many.
Now.
There we go.
Hey, that's more like it.
All right. Yeah, that'll do. Thanatos and Neothil are a bit out of their element. But between Rocket, Mika, and Alice are kind of working together. You're sort of able to find a spot that's not really a cave. It's kind of an overhang area, but it serves as shelter from the snow and winds for the most part. And you're able to find enough stuff lying around, mostly in the form of rocks and dead grass and a few bits from long dead trees lying around, that you're able to get up a serviceable campfire going.
The pass was 13.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
You all.
Bingo.
all
We found a cave.
And now we're set up.
you're set up. Watch rotation.
Watch rotation.
Usual
rotation.
first. No tree for me this time, so I'll just kind of stand by the mouth of the cave, I guess.
And we should be safe here for the night. Everyone gets some sleep.
Yep.
And prepare for night shifts.
All right, go ahead and roll me an awareness, knee.
A bit distracted there, are we?
Well, as you're standing there looking out, and it's hard to really see much through the snows raging outside. It seems like it's actually getting heavier, and you can't help but sort of like tighten your arms around yourself a bit to try and keep warm. You actually kind of have your bedroll itself kind of pulled around you, and even then you're still just a little on the chilly side. As you're kind of standing there, you're not really able to make anything out beyond the overhang. The snow's too thick, but a ways back, closer to the campfire, you hear a little old shivering noise from Mika. Just
Me hearing that is going to head over to her and the campfire.
she's kind of she's lying there curled up really tight, like almost into a ball under her blankets, holding them really close and sitting close to the campfire, probably a little closer than is actually probably safe, but she looks almost desperate to just have some warmth.
Nee is going to take her own covers, stick it on Mika, and then sit by her.
Mika sort of perks up and looks up at you in surprise. Nee, what are you?
You were shivering like mad, but you need it more than I do.
I guess. Bundles up a bit.
If you
Thanks.
Mm.
I hope it's not this cold in the
if
actual
you like,
city.
I don't mind.
Alistair, you're asleep.
Mm.
The rest of you are asleep.
So shut up.
Yeah, Mika kind of cuddles up a bit under the blankets a bit.
I hope the Academy City itself is warmer than this.
I imagine it won't be. It's a city that'll have fires and heat. I don't think of living like this.
Probably not. What I want to know is, why did they pick such a high place to actually set up their academy?
Well, it certainly has the mysterious magic vibe. Maybe that's why it's called Mage's Mountains.
Maybe. Maybe it's some sort of test for the would-be students, make sure they have the fortitude to actually endure what they're going through. I mean, it may
The
not...
practical military side of me says it might be for defense. Coming up here with an army would be a pain.
Coming up here with just a group of force of pain.
Oh, it's cold.
She's sort of going through her list of spells real quick. Doesn't know anything to warm you up though, so
He has fire.
you got fire. That's not doing a whole lot.
I'll bear it if I have to. Just for night, right?
For a minute, Mika sort of actually sits up, and then like sort of holds out one arm, opening up the blanket itself.
You sure?
I mean, you're shivering and I'm not. Oh, it's body heat. Practical. Help you keep watch.
After taking a moment, he's going to accept that offer.
Right? You get situated next to her, and she's definitely warmer than she was, and definitely warmer than you at the moment. You kind of get bundled up. Just a little awkward and uncomfortable because you're not used to sharing such close physical proximity with someone else like this, especially not in this sort of sitting position for such a prolonged period of time, but you eventually, after a bit of shifting and adjusting, get comfy and just sit there and take your watch as a group. Mika's going to add her own awareness roll to yours. And the rest of the night passes uneventfully for you two. So, rest of you, who is taking second watch?
That's me.
All right, go ahead and make me an awareness check then.
Yeah. As I'm walking by to take mine, I see that Nee and Mika are slowly still bundled up, and they look cold. So I give them my covers along with it.
Jeez, okay. So you're just kind of handing your blankets as you're passing by me. It's like, kind of in a drowsy state as she's like trying to sleep, and it's like,
What?
It's nothing. Just go back to sleep.
and she does so. All right, go ahead and roll me awareness. All right, with that 11, your night passes more or less without incident. The snow is dying down a bit. Who is taking third?
Okay.
All right, Marcus taking third. Roll me awareness. Ooh, 14. Nice. All right. Well, your watch is uneventful, although it is very much cold. And while your feathers do wonders to keep most of you warm, the bits where your feathers had long ago been sheared away to make room for the Magitech implants that pepper your body, those are a bit less covered, and those are the regions that are always in pain, because those are the parts where you have shit sticking out of you. So like where your mechanical leg starts, where your cybernetic eye is, the case that surrounds it, and where your rocket boosters are, those are all very much susceptible to the cold. But as the night wears on and the cold kind of seeps into those little very thinly exposed lines of flesh, it's cold enough that those areas slowly start to go numb, and it becomes very difficult to actually feel the pain that's been a constant for you since meeting these people. Since waking up on the rivers a long time ago and meeting Anada, actually. And you find yourself taken aback, as for the first time in a while, even if only for the night, you find yourself not in constant pain.
Wow.
Like it's still not a pleasant feeling being numb around where the stuff's sticking out of you, but being numb where your parts stick out of you is better than hurting where they're sticking out of you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
You kind of involuntarily ruffle up your feathers a bit and get this kind of goofy smile on your face, and just kind of this little chirpy purr deep in your throat. Just a little instinctual reaction of contentment. Other than that, your watch is uneventful. Alistair takes last. Give me awareness, please.
Start with that. I'm back. I didn't mess my watch today. Hello?
No, you haven't. Go ahead and roll awareness.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was still muted. What I was going to say earlier, I had to shoot off quick. Sorry for interrupting something.
That's okay. All right, 13. Yeah, your watch is uneventful. You kind of
Phew.
take a moment to look out at the familiar mountainside. You know these mountains. You trained here for a good couple years, so you know the area. And eventually, the snowstorm fades away, just as the sun is starting to come up on the distant horizon, casting sort of a pinkish glow everywhere and lighting the underside of the slowly dispersing clouds. It's still cold as fuck, but without the rampaging winds, just a gentle breeze and no falling snowflakes, it's much more tolerable than it was before.
Ah. Cool.
All right. Night has passed, and everyone is slowly coming to.
Morning, everyone. Why is it shine?
I take it Mika and Nia are waking up still where they were left.
Still totally bundled up. Like, you slowly flutter open your eyes, and you see Mika's slowly waking face like a few inches from your own.
Wait a minute, that's... Oh,
What?
that's nice of you, Thanatos. See, you ain't so...
What?
as you Dark Knights are.
Mika's eyes open, look right into yours, and she just kind of freezes. You swear her body temperature drops like a degree or two. And you see the color slowly draining from her face, and then returning several shades redder than before.
You
What?
comfortable, you two?
Shut up!
Mika has
There's
become
nothing to be
Mika
embarrassed about.
Mika has become a tomato,
Oh dear.
and she
I'm gonna give you two some personal space.
I'll have you know this was.
and she
I'll
sort
have
of
you know this was much warmer.
she's sort of
I didn't realize we'd fall asleep like that.
she
Uh.
she sort of extracts herself from the bundle, looking very awkward and embarrassed, and looking around.
Thanatos is turned around, just very trying very hard not to just burst out laughing.
Oh, stop you! He's gonna just throw the blankets on his head, like cover him.
So you have 3 thick travel blankets now draped over your head.
Oh, that ain't good for you.
You look kind of like a matted Wookiee.
Anyway, we should
Wait.
probably be moving, right? Because Anomo,
Where did we get these blankets anyway?
That's camping gear.
We got Lalato, I guess.
I mean, let's say you grabbed camping gear before you left Marasu. It just makes sense.
she's asking
Exactly.
questions. She has to be eliminated.
A good adventurer is always prepared.
All right. And you setting off?
Yep.
Hey, it's
Packed up and ready to go.
Yep, passing a couple more awkward glances around, and with Mika slowly getting her normal, just fleshy pink back, you return to the path and continue on your way to Anomo. Around you, the terrain slowly starts to a lot of the jagged rocks start to look less jagged, like they've been cleared out a bit. You see more smaller paths branching off from the main one you're following. Not deliberately maintained, but they look to be walked enough that they are just maintained just by foot traffic. And eventually you round a bend in the terrain, and up ahead you see the Academy City of Anomo. It is a truly magnificent sight to behold. Its walls are tall and segmented evenly with a series of towers that reach high into the sky with the sort of very sleek and elegant spiraling spire design. It's all made out of like stone and trimmed with various forms of metal, and you can see like runes etched into all of the various sides of each spire. And over the top of the city itself, sort of rising from the circular walls, is this great blue magical dome. It's completely clear on the inside, so you gather that it's protected from the elements. You see a gigantic series of towers and just this phenomenally large castle rising from the center back of the establishment, towards the northern end of the arrangement of things, that just towers above even the wall spires. And Alistair, you recognize that as being the primary, that building there is where most of the big important classes are taught, where it's just like lectures and information. It's where all of the archives and libraries are. It's where the personal quarters for the city staff and the professors and teachers are. It's where the giant mess hall is for like last year students and a lot of other things. That's like the central hub for all of the big important stuff. And you feel a wave of nostalgia coming over you, and Mika is just like, she's just floored at the sight. This place is magnificent, enormous, and beautiful. And as you're drawing closer, you approach the rest of you would assume the front gates. Alistair, you know totally what's going on here, but for the rest of them, it's just a brick wall. Alistair, I will real quickly send you a ping on Discord letting you know exactly what it is.
Are you about to platform 9 3/4 us?
Platform 9 3/4.
Like a second.
All right, and you see, and as you're drawing closer, you see it's just an empty wall.
Okay, there has to be some sort of magic trick here.
Stand back, everyone.
Yes, please.
Yep.
It is cold. I want to be out.
Alistair,
Okay.
you step
Calm down.
You step closer and lift your hand up and cast a very rudimentary spell. It doesn't even cost you any MP. It's a little more than a specific ping and a specific signature that's unique to you. Sort of washes out with a sort of high-pitched noise. Little thin, narrow bubble sort of expands out and washes over the door, or the wall, rather, and then slowly out of the bricks, looking to be made out of, like, various sheets of and scrolls of parchment rolled together, this gigantic face slowly presses out of the wall. Bald head, male, kind of aged looking. 2 eyes snap open and they're just glowing blue spheres. They look down at Alistair, and for a moment there's silence before the face smiles and recedes into the wall. And when it recedes, a section of it opens like a literal book and expands out, and you see in the middle of that seam where the spine of a book would be a perfectly cut arched doorway made of reinforced iron and wood.
You know what? Magic's weird.
Open
Indeed.
sesame. The doorway is now open.
That's amazing.
And I'm not sleeping tonight.
All right.
Oh, you haven't even got to the best part yet. You want to go in first?
I think Mika might explode if we don't.
And she surges forward.
What's wrong with regular doors?
Now, Thanatos, we need to keep secrets. And, of course, this place, well, hidden from any nasty people.
The
That's
point,
understandable.
Doors are boring.
yeah, the point of that particular phenomenon is, Alistair, all around the outer walls of the city, there are dozens of those face-like entities that protect a single door that can be opened anywhere on the walls, but will only open to individuals permitted access or recognized as friendly. The face that you saw when it looked at you with those blue eyes was recognizing your signature, but scanning your company, and recognized them as not being a threat. And so permitted entrance. But anyone and
figured that.
everyone who is detected with malicious intent or anything that might give it cause for immediate concern would not be permitted entrance, and any aggressive force would actively be attacked by that face in the wall with high-level spells.
Yep.
So this is a
I'm
very
aware.
well-protected city.
Mm-hmm.
You know that the
Let's
dome
try to make
overhead...
it sound simple. for them.
Yeah, and the dome overhead doesn't just keep out the elements, it's basically a several times amplified wall spell, meaning it protects from both physical and magical means of attack. So, this city is very well fortified.
Hmm.
All right.
Which it makes sense, because it has the most powerful people here and most important knowledge.
Let us enter then, rather than talking about it all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mika throws open the doors and steps in, and she kind of disappears amid the shadow just beyond the doorway, and you follow her through. And for a moment, it's like you're just walking through darkness itself. The door swings shut behind you of its own accord, and then
Soundless.
and then a little blue crystalline shards of light start to rise up around you for a moment, and then another archway, just rises up in front of you, seemingly made of perfect, pure, arcane light. That light then dies down, and you see a way into the Academy City has opened, and stepping out, you find yourself in the streets. And the buildings here are all made of stone, very nicely carved, practical, but at the same time artistic. The shapes are practical for the most part, but there are a lot of decorations and embellishments sort of tacked on that give it all this very high-end, well-maintained, very clean and proper feel. It is a beautiful place. You see arcane runes all over the places. The street corners are lined with magical street lamps that provide gentle illumination at all times, and you see a lot of people sort of going about, though not as many as you would expect from a city of this size. And yes, it is a city practically standing here. The street you are currently on appears to be dead center and goes for some distance, leading directly to that big palacing I mentioned towards the back, the central university essentially. But all around it, you're seeing a bunch of what you can only assume to be dorm rooms and student facilities, such as study halls and mess halls and various shops for supplies and equipment. And you do see a bit further in, sort of on the corner of an intersection, a large 4-story inn and tavern that looks to be the place for travelers who aren't students but are still staying for whatever reason.
Welcome to the Academy City, or I also like to know as my home far away from home.
So, Mika, everything you
is it
wanted?
everything you imagined?
I've only seen
So
one
it's okay.
side of it. I need to look inside.
Okay,
Well,
settle
she-
down.
She's sort of spinning in place, looking around with the sort of dreamy look on her face.
It's like a kid in a candy shop.
I'm a
Better
nerd.
have this.
I'm a nerd in a nerd store is what I am.
She's very animal.
Well, at least
right
she
now.
admits it.
She's very animal right now.
I mean, have you seen the thumbnail for the series? You're all anime.
Yep.
But yeah.
So, do you want to go and find where it is that you need to see to admit yourself as a student?
Doing that, one would need to. This is for Alice. Or to enlist as a student, one would need to go to the central university towards the northern end of the city, and usually this would require speaking to one of several individuals, usually one of the primary lead professors or the headmaster himself.
I suggest the north entrance where we may find one of the people in charge of this place. They will get you in. But a word of advice.
I'll behave.
Do set a good impression, because some of them can be a bit strict.
I'll behave.
If there's anyone that they'll let in for magical studies, it's her. Come on. She bleeds the stuff.
I do not. I bleed blood. My own blood.
It was a
With all the-
metaphor, Mika.
With all the books you read, you might as well bleed ink.
That's an
And of course, if you
octopus.
do really well, you get to basically go to the important part of the place.
I take it we're stuck out here while that happens.
What?
I take it we're stuck out here while that happens.
Well, what happens? I was saying something for Mika and missed
Well,
it.
Mika's off to sign up and get student access and all that. We're kind of stuck out here.
Yes. Alistair confirms that you're probably going to be stuck from any of the student facilities while that's going on.
Well,
If
if
anyone
you
else wants to
don't
sign up,
mind,
now's your chance.
magic's not my thing. But if you want to go ahead and do that, Mika, we can see if starting out our own staying facility for the time being. I know you're excited.
I am very.
I might have to pop in here again. Point. I still need to learn some more powerful spells, and also then I have to look around for more capable staff.
Well, you two feel free. Don't let us stop you.
Alright,
Mm-hmm.
lead the way, Alistair. You've been here before.
Yep.
Alright.
And as for the rest of you, try to stay out of trouble and enjoy yourselves.
No promises.
Oh, I've got things to do, don't worry.
I mean it, Thanatos. Don't get us kicked out. No malicious intent and no disintegration.
And no
Stop it with
racist
the
jokes.
references.
What was Mika gonna say?
And no racist jokes.
Definitely no racist jokes. It is not permitted here. It's forbidden.
Very
I make one remark, and that I'm apparently I'm a racist now.
But you fuck one
It-
goat. And with that, with Alistair leading Mika towards the Central University on the northern end of the city, and the rest of you hanging back and looking around at everything and taking in the sight of the place that you've been working so long to get here, I think that's as good a place as any to call it. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Next session, I got things to do.
Yep. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Final Fantasy D6 Chronicles of Eno. If I can get the damn outro music to play. There we go. All right. So, we'll see you next time with any luck. And who knows what crazy adventures await our group of heroes, quote unquote.
Me.
Free.
Mhm.
They finally
I said,
reached
oi.
well, they finally reached the Academy City, the place they've been trying to get to for so long now. Bet they're feeling happy about that. So, with that in
Mika,
mind,
especially.
oh yeah, definitely.
About time.
So yeah, from all of us here at FF56 Chronicles of Eno, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Keep listening. Goodbye.
Sarah.
Hurrah.
Bye.
One adventure ends, another begins.
Yep.
That's how this shit usually goes.
Yep.